Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 8 of Mage, the Ascension. So we were talking on the break a little bit about advancement in the game. I showed very briefly, and I'll show everybody again real quick. I showed the countdown clocks, and I showed them to the players because I've been thinking about... We talked a little bit at the beginning of the game about what we wanted to do for advancement, because the advancement structure in Mage is very, very like GM driven, very kind of like, did you do a good job? If so, here, have some points to spend. And we wanted to make it a little bit more narrative, but because we've been very focused on this one core thing, the only one that's really advanced has been Kaguya's confirming the creator's death, right? There's been a little bit of some of the other ones. So I feel like the game maybe hasn't been structured in a way that's led to like this happening either, right? Like the XP rewards in Mage as it stands is really arbitrary. Like you get 1 point for showing up, you get 1 point for learning something new, important, or significant to the plot or your personal story. One for role playing, one for focus. So like getting into your character's paradigm and kind of exploring that. And then 1 point for heroism, which I think is silly because it implies that the game has to be about being heroes. Though the reward structure does indicate some stuff about the game. But yeah, nobody's advanced anything so far. So I figured since we're coming up on like kind of a climactic part of the arc, we could just do a blob of experience points now and advance the characters a little bit, just to show the progression that we've had as characters. I'm still not super happy with it. I feel like you could kind of like refit these to be a bit more like Mouse Guard or Torchbearer rewards, where it's like at the end of the session we all talk about who gets who gets each award. But even that, I think, isn't quite right. But I also don't want you to be unprepared for what is to come. So let's all just level up together. Let's all just take some XP. So I was thinking like 20 experience probably seems about right, because you'd all have 7 by now. And then there's a chance to earn per episode between 0 and 4 more. So if we assume you average out, if we assume you're average role players... I guess actually that would mean, let's see, 7 episodes. Yeah. So like let's just call it 20. And yeah, we can spend some points to improve things.
Sounds good.
And I'm also okay with there being another system. It's just one of those things where I was like,
too,
hey,
yeah.
so I didn't really understand the game or my character when we needed to pick these things. And so I just like picked a random thing because I was like, Hillary, what are you doing? This, I guess. And we like have not talked about it, and I was like, cool. I feel like there's something going on here that I personally did not get in on. So
yeah, no, and that makes sense. It's just I think it's a case too of like, yeah, maybe both systems being useful for certain things, but yeah. So we can talk about all the mechanical stuff when we do our little like sort of post-show talk about Mage in general. But yeah, let's take a look. So
and yeah, can we walk through like what each of these things listed actually means?
Correct. So
yeah, I'm pretty happy with the idea that the current rating of some of my things being 0 times any number is still 0. So I'm just going to give myself 1 point in every single stat.
So here's the thing. So you can, I'm not sure. So we're looking at page 336. I'll take a quick screenshot for folks in chat if they want to follow along. Here we go. And so what we're looking at here is the table, there we go, of costs for various purchases. It's sort of a point buy system, and getting new things costs a certain amount. So I don't really know why it says current ability, current sphere. I think that might that should be new ability and new sphere, but let's take a quick through the rules. So it takes time and effort to learn new things. So I don't know how we want to handle that. Like, you know, like that's kind of a downtime, like raising or learning spheres. I kind of want to be able just to ignore all that time stuff. The only thing that takes special effects is like arete. Raising your arete, you have to go on basically like a quest with your avatar.
Vision quest, yeah.
You have to spend some time with your avatar or with another wizard or whatever and like, yeah, learn. So, yes, it's supposed to say new ability, I think. So, a new ability costs you 3 points to get it at rank 1. A new sphere costs you 10 points to get it at rank 1. Otherwise, you raise them by multiples. So, your affinity sphere is the one that you started with at character creation. So, this is like based on your tradition. So, for you, Litany, it's life. It's correspondence for Iori. And what did you choose yours? Prime? Kuguya?
Prime was the one I chose,
okay,
yeah.
So, Prime. Kuguya. And then your attributes are, you know, like intelligence, manipulation, wits, those things. That's times 4. Some of the backgrounds are available with points, but not all of them. So like arcane, avatar, destiny, dream, familiar, like kind of the magic ones, you can't just raise those.
Yeah.
So could you let me know what page this is on?
Yeah, it's on 336.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then your willpower is just the current rating times 1 to improve it. So getting willpower up to 10 is actually not that expensive. Turns out, wizards.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got 20 points. So you should be able to raise a sphere by 1, probably, depending on...
And then raising your abilities is super cheap. It's just only ever 3 points.
It's 3 points for a dot in an ability, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't scale. Oh, hold on. Ability is your current rating times 2. They made a fix for the... we have an older version of the PDF, I guess.
Okay, so it looks like there are maybe some errors in the...
Yeah, the table's a little glitched. So it should say new ability is 3, new sphere is 10, ability is 2 times the current rating.
2 times current rating. Okay, yeah. So it just has the value for getting a new ability jammed in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Is it okay if we don't do this all right now?
Oh yeah. You can just take the experience. Sure.
I just know that like doing character upgrade mathy stuff takes a lot of brain for me. Mm-hmm. And I just know that it'll probably, everybody else will be like, cool, I did it. And I'll be like,
yeah, that's
great. Fine. I also did it. And then, yeah, I would rather have some time that I could actually like understand what I'm picking. And yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we had it. So just, mark down that you have 20 experience that you can spend, and then you can choose however you want to do that whenever.
If I spent 80, am I allowed to do that, even if everyone else isn't?
Yeah, you can spend it now, or you can wait, or, whenever. It's fine.
All right, I'm going to spend a little bit now, but...
Cool.
I bumped up matter and time to 2, so I can actually do things with them now.
Okay, instead of just perceive them.
Yeah, I bumped my matter up to 2 as well.
Okay.
Because I want that.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. So, what's the next thing? Where do we see these characters again? Litany, do you want to have a scene like the next day with Lyric, like at your house?
Sure. I also had plans with Desmond, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember what the details of those were though.
Because I called him the previous day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, hey, last night things are weird. Maybe we should hang out. And they were like, yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah. So there wasn't like specific, like we're going to do this.
Like shit happened last night.
That's right.
Yesterday afternoon, our plan had been let's hang out tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. So.
Sure. Okay.
That's what I remember from last time, at least.
Yeah. All right. So you, I think when you wake up, Lyric is. Describe your house to us a little bit. What do we see? What would Lyric encounter upon like kind of wandering around in your house?
There's like a decent sized kitchen. Yeah, like I have roommates. But yeah, there's a decent sized kitchen, and I've got a master bedroom in the house, and my bathroom has got like a ton of herbs and other stuff like hanging up drying in it all the time, or like stuff around, and there's a lot of shelving in my room just like full of stuff.
Cool.
Some books and things, but mostly more like other not books stuff, like jars of things and bundles of stuff and little piles of things here and there and like scraps of paper all over the place. And yeah.
Cool. Okay. So where
and I've got a desk with a computer on it, and yeah, like a bed in the middle of the room that's like the box spring and then the mattress, but just like on the floor. And like a queen size bed or whatever with like a lot of blankets, but that are always just kind of like in a heap.
Okay. All right. So where do you put Lyric? Where do they sleep?
Probably my bed with me. That's usually where they sleep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so I think that they wake up and extricate themselves from the bed before you wake up. And so yeah, when you wake up, are there any like pets in the house? Does anybody have like a dog or?
Yeah, I think there's a cat. There's a cat that's like I think been living in the house longer than any of the roommates have been living in the house.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Black with like a notch in its ear.
So I think you find them. I think you find them sitting like in a chair in the like sort of main room, listening to. They've got their like earbuds in, and they're like the cat is sitting in their lap, and they're just like looking out the window when you wake up.
Yeah.
And you can smell that they've made tea. And I think it's a little chilly today, so it's like maybe it's raining a little. And so your house is like a little colder than usual.
Yeah. So I'll come down and kind of like sleepy and like say hi to them and ask if there's more tea.
Yeah, I think they like take their earbuds out and you can hear some kind of like guided meditation. Like it's not music that's going on, it's just like someone talking.
Yeah.
And then they nod and then like, it's in the kitchen still.
Are you hungry? Do you want anything?
No, I didn't sleep very well. Too distracted for food. Maybe later.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to stay here. As long as you want. I probably have other stuff I need to go and do today, but I don't know. You're always welcome, you know.
Yeah, and they nod.
And yeah, I'll go and like make myself some breakfast in the kitchen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you go and start making food, and I think that Lyric comes in after a while, and and so they come into the kitchen and don't say anything necessarily. They just kind of like walk over to maybe to like the table that you have there, and they're like looking out at the alley behind the house. And and then after like a while of just the sound of like, you know, your knife and like the sort of cooking sounds in the room. I think that, yeah, that lyric says, so what's going to happen?
Like I do not know.
Yeah, and I think they shake their head and then like maybe I don't know. I've been thinking about leaving, just going somewhere else. I know people in LA.
I'm like, yeah, I get that. You don't have to stay. You know, you're allowed to do what you want. I'm starting to get a little bit worried that, like, I don't know, that if there is some kind of unfinished business or whatever, that maybe there's people tracking us too. You know what I mean? The kind of people who, if they want to find you, they find you eventually. And whether that's here or in LA or in New Orleans or wherever you end up. And I don't know, I won't make you stay, but I'm worried about you being alone.
They shrug. Might be safer that way.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't say. Like I said, I barely understand what's going on.
Yeah, and they nod. And they're like, what did Victoria tell you yesterday?
She's worried. I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes when she's blowing things way out of proportion and when she's the only person seeing clearly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So she's worried. I think she thinks that Kaguya is going to do something rash. I think that I don't really know.
Well, I mean, I'll stick around for a couple of days at least, but I don't know. I have a bad feeling and I don't feel safe here now, you know?
What would make you feel safe?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I trust you. If you have a bad feeling, you have a bad feeling. That seems significant enough to me. But you know how everybody else is some of the time. I have to have everything be something else. Like it's always this piece of data or this important letter or whatever. And it's not just like they can just trust their gut to know what's going on.
I think that's hard for some people. And they like walk over and they're standing kind of like across from you. Maybe you're like at a cutting board or something. And they're like, some people look outside and some people look inside. And I just think Victoria is scared and she's getting upset about things that might or might not be true, but I don't know if I'm more afraid of that or that she might be right and that we can't trust Iori and there's something wrong with Kaguya and they're going to turn on us or something.
Well, I feel like maybe the important thing is that, I don't know, I want to pay close attention and like listen to everybody, but I guess I don't want to trust anybody more than myself. You know what I mean? So if your gut says it's bad, it's bad.
I just don't want to run away if anybody needs my help.
I know. Why is this so tough? And I kind of like reach over and like pull them into a hug.
Mm-hmm.
and kiss them on the top of their head. I'm like still holding them. I'm like, I feel like it's harder for us sometimes. I feel like everybody else just shouts and throws things around and they don't really feel anything, you know? It's hard. There's so much noise.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want everybody to get to be the thing that they want to be. And right now, I don't want to be here, I don't think. So I've got some people I need to talk to, and if it looks like LA is a thing that might work, I'll probably go. I can stay here till then?
Yep. You know where the key is.
Okay. And then I think they change the subject. They're like, "Oh, maybe here, let me help you with that," and they like go and like start like chopping something or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, let's just talk about something that's not this.
That's done.
Yeah, totally.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kaguya, where do we find you? What's the next thing that Kaguya is doing? Do you wake up at home? Are you like getting a coffee after a long night of planning with Iori? Where are you and your retinue at? You're muted, Andrew.
Sorry, I guess we pulled an all-nighter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like hanging out at the theater still.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I think Kaguya is just doing a bunch of like housekeeping, like, you know, mystical housekeeping tasks. Like I'm giving some quintessence to my familiar and also feeding Sky a bunch of paradox while I'm at it. Which I think just kind of is happening like passively, but I'm like hanging out with them, and like meditating and generally getting my stuff in order.
Yeah, and where are you doing that?
Probably out in the like lobby area. Like me, Hugo, and Sky are just like seated, all facing each other on 3 chairs in the middle of an empty room,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just like talking in hushed tones to each other.
Cool. That'd be really unsettling. Okay. Cool. So how did everything, like the things that Victoria said, how did that affect Kaguya? Like how are you feeling about that?
I don't know. I just like,
I mean, you don't share, or you don't hold any like hope that your mentor was like actually secretly a decent dude, right? Like we know you don't like him either.
Yeah, I think he's a piece of shit. So I'm just like,
what
yeah,
about like, so her theory that he may have just like betrayed the rest of the like mentorship cabal? Are you like, yeah, that's possible, or how do you feel about that?
that kind of lines up with what evidence Kaguya has seen so far of like, you know, Robert and Clifford Davies fighting in my like vision that the spirit gave me, and like also Robert fought with, you know, Francie, and like I'm just like, yeah, this guy became a like cornered animal and then lashed out at a bunch of people and then ended up making a deal with this Dr. Shankar who was clearly bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm just like, I am fully expecting him to always be the most shitty possible person. Anytime he is, I'm just like, yep, knew it, saw it coming.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, Victoria being like, he was probably working with the technocracy. I was like, 1, I know, and 2, yeah, makes sense.
So I think the real wild card here is Iori's mentor. We don't even know this guy's name. And is that like, I feel like that's an in-character thing. Like Iori, like, you know his name, but it hasn't, like, I think he was probably the most isolated of all of the like mentors. Like it was the cabal of like people who were at least like comradely in their good times, but I feel like your mentor was kind of like set aside from everybody else.
Yeah, I think Um, that's both probably true and also owing to the same dynamic that Victoria is creating. Her mentor probably did as well. Like,
Oh yeah,
can we
yes,
trust the virtual adept?
totally.
No. Um, yeah, I've not really thought a huge amount about my mentor
Mm-hmm.
because even though they taught me a lot about stuff, I don't think our paradigms would have aligned because mine's like far too personal and like based on media I've seen and like shaped more by video games and movies and stuff I've watched than actually reality. So
Totally. Yeah, yeah. Well, I love there's this like nerd generation gap between you and your mentor, where your mentor is like the kind of Berkeley computer sciences professor, and you're the like anime nerd. And he's like, you're both nerds. You're
yeah,
just not good at being nerds that are in the same space.
yeah,
So yeah, maybe you were a little estranged from your mentor. That's a thing that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. It's I think we definitely had in common the idea that we can use these things that have been used to like oppress people, like the technocracy, like technology, data, freeing all that to like make people's lives better. So they probably instilled in me like yeah, that's probably like where the Crusader thing comes in, or just that this is worth doing and finding them again because they will be a positive force on the world, just like in balance. But I don't think we were like particularly close. They're definitely more of a teacher than a mentor for me.
Mm-hmm.
Still important though, and I think it's more important just because this is like a bad thing that has happened, and I need to fix it because that's in my nature.
Mm-hmm.
Not really about the personal relationship with the person I want to save.
Yeah, 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 totally. It's just a bad thing happened and it's not clear how to like yeah, you're still working towards the answers. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Cuz that's a thing like I'm starting to develop this idea and I'm actually it's funny the more we play the more I get kind of like a Watchmen like feel from this where there's like this past generation and some of their issues have kind of like trickled down to you, especially in this episode where we're seeing the kind of like lines of politics divide. Like it makes me wonder what like we could very easily do like a kind of like back in the 70s and like do like a well they're all in their 20s like your mentors kind of game because I think they have
Yeah.
like some politics that are going on too. So I'm sort of curious about how that stuff has gotten passed on. Like it'd be interesting to see how Davies and like Maureen and Francie got along. But all of that stuff is mysteries lost to a house fire and time now. So I guess the question here for Kaguya to get back around to the original point was like, do you feel like you can trust like Iori particularly? Because what if Iori's mentor was also like part of that conspiracy? What if the two of them were working together? Like we still kind of don't know.
I think Kaguya's mindset on a lot of this stuff is that like they don't really they can't really they still are so they're so deeply mistrustful of their own mentor that they have trouble believing that anyone else would have a like truly functional relationship
Yeah.
in that same framework. So yeah, I assume that Iori and Litany and everyone else had this like kind of alienating relationship with their mentors,
Yeah.
which is also because of the like power dynamic and ties into Kaguya's like paradigm and worldview of like there are like ancient and unknowable and dark things that have power, and then there are those who do not.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can't like have a relationship with those things. You can either become one
Yeah.
or be a victim of one.
Sure.
So it's like it's also part of Kaguya's paradigm for that like they can't really understand like good teaching relationships between things that are more powerful and things that are weaker.
Yeah. 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 Totally. Cool. Okay, so I think like I guess what's the next step in your investigation, Iori? You're kind of the quest driven one. What's the next thing that needs to happen?
You're the lead detective on this.
Yeah.
I think it is using the phone number that we've got. Like have a burner phone, call the number while it's calling, triangulate the place that it's coming from, or that I am sending data to.
Okay. So the idea here is you want to make a so you have the number. It's part of the data like package that you got. So yeah, you want to call and you want to use a correspondence effect to basically trace the call. That's the plan. Do you do that alone or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you do that alone or do you like get everybody together, and where do you call from?
I think I would take. No, I think I can mask the location that I'm calling from within my sanctum. I think that is something I would do in preparation. I was just trying to think of whether I would leave and go somewhere, but that would make the magic more difficult.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do it and try. Like the first step would be configuring a phone such that like it doesn't give off any information to them when I'm trying to do that to them, because data manipulation being the way that it is, they could track me from the phone in the same way I could track them. So I just need to prep myself first.
Okay. All right. So maybe you're like coming back from 7-Eleven or whatever with your burner in the in like a plastic bag, and you head up to your sanctum.
Yep.
Okay. So what does that look like? Do you take the phone apart and like integrate it into some other computer system? Do you like what is your instruments for this look like?
I think it's definitely taking it apart. So it's kind of like just the shell of the phone, and all the parts are exposed, and attaching like physical clips to like the SIM card and the battery and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're attached to, I think, some kind of like weird simulacrum looking thing that just kind of like spins round in a random pattern, and it's just like plugged into it by USB.
Nice.
Like to like randomize, like the movement of the thing creates the random element which will be masking the data.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, just like kind of I love how your paradigm is just, does it look like the way this thing would work in a movie? If so, good, it will work. It's perfect. There's probably an oscilloscope somewhere for no reason, like just because sound magic.
Here's the machine that goes ping.
Exactly. The machine that goes ping is very important. Okay, Brad, let's figure it out. So I understand how your belief and practice make it happen. I know what tools you're using. I think that you're going to want to create it's two effects, right? It's the static, sort of static field, like the protector, so they don't, if there is a counter trace or whatever, they can't find you. And then there's also the actual tracking for when you make the call. So let's do one and then the other. For this one,
Sure.
For trying to protect your phone from being counter hacked, it's going to be, I think, it seems coincidental to me. Seems like it could be mundane. That's fine. So it is correspondence 2, so difficulty 5.
Okay, and I'll drop that one for the sanctum.
Mm-hmm. And you need one success for. Oh no, the sanctum just makes it from vulgar to coincidental. It's already coincidental, so
Okay.
it stays at 5. You need one. Basically, you need one success to just have it last for the next roll. So you'll need 2. One for the success as your base, and then one more for the effect.
There we go.
Nice. Good work. Okay. So you feel like you've got a pretty pretty sufficient mask on your location. And now you can roll to make the call. So actually, I guess you make the call and then it starts to like track it. So the phone starts to ring. You input the number and the phone starts to ring. And how are you hearing it? Is it over like a speaker? Do you have like a headset on?
I think a headset. I think that it's a one ear on, other one just like typing things on a keyboard. They probably don't even like make any sense, but that's what people do when they like track messages. So
okay.
I'm just wondering, is there a way to do stuff with time so that I have longer to do this? I don't know how long the tracking process is going to take, or well, it's instantaneous, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you call and then you trigger the effect, and yeah, if it was like mundane cell phone tracking, it would take some time, but
yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think you need to read too much about that. Okay.
Yeah, let's try that then.
All right, and you, you're not fast casting and you're not juggling enough other effects. Like you have that other effect going, but you need 2 before it starts to penalize you. So you're fine for that. Okay, so same thing. Difficulty 5.
Okay.
Correspondence.
Yeah. I mean, I have a willpower back, but I won't use it. Oh, I've got time. I could try it again, maybe. Whatever. We'll see how it goes. It's not red.
Hey,
Whoa.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so it rings a couple of times, and then a kind of I guess like a like slightly crackly like voicemail comes up, and a man's voice on the other end says, "You've reached Smith and Sons Vacuum Repair. If you'd like to make an appointment, please leave a message with a time that we can reach you and a phone number where we can get at you. Thanks for calling." And then it clicks off onto the machine, like you leave a message. Do you just like hang up? Like you've got the like the trace.
Yeah. Like if it's enough by the time it clicks, then I won't leave any seconds of dead air.
Okay.
I'm just wondering whether I send like a proxy packet of data that just sounds like a couple of really quiet beeps, and that's all they get on the answer phone.
Yeah, it's up to you if you just want to like.
It doesn't really matter either way.
Okay.
Fluff.
All right. So you so you hang up, and I think that we have like on one of your monitors there's like a map of San Francisco, and yeah, it shows you that the address is a it's like a building in downtown San Jose. The building looks like an office building. Looks it's registered to some like governmental organization. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Okay, good. I'm just like, there was a lot of magic effects in a short amount of time. But I'm good, and I still haven't exploded, even though I can feel it encroaching on me. So I'll like head out and I'll shout down to Kaguya. If they are still there in the building.
Yeah, they're just out in the lobby communing with 2 other copies of themselves.
Yep.
And yeah, I think like when you come out, I'm like petting Sky's hair and like soothing them.
Like, this is so I like look for a second. I'm like Kaguya, because I obviously can't tell which one of you.
Very hard time telling which one. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm the only one that reacts. I just like turn and look.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. I've got an address. I've managed to track the phone number and where the answer phone was set up to downtown San Jose. We could go there and check it out.
Well, let's be on our way then. We should go with Litany, though.
Yes. Yeah, we should. What time is it now? It might have to wait until after work, but yeah, we can do it today. Why didn't you give her a ring? You're better at talking to her than I am. I'll have another little bit of prep to do.
So I just like put out my hand behind me, and Kaguya puts my phone in my hand, and it's already dialed the number. Or sorry, Hugo puts my phone in my hand, and then I like.
Not creepy at all.
So yeah, I call Litany.
Okay, Litany, you're I guess you're probably like eating breakfast with Lyric when you feel your phone buzzing in your pocket.
Yeah. I'll answer it.
Okay. You're really quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're super quiet.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
I don't know. I think it's because I whispered something into my mic.
Oh, the mic was probably like, okay,
and it recalibrated.
it's quiet time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I back at regular talking now?
You're at a good
you're
time.
fine. Yeah, you answer your phone.
Excellent. Yeah, I answer my phone. Hey, hi, what's up?
We need to go to San Jose tonight.
Okay. Who are we and when are we going? And also why?
Yori has found where the phone number leads. So we should go there. And, well, who knows what will happen. It may be that we need your skills. It may be that we need my skills.
Okay, so we're doing some kind of late night road trip. Is that the plan?
Yes.
Does one of you have a car?
I like look over at Yori, and I look like kind of reset, and I'm just like, no, we'll have to figure that out.
Okay, because we could take Caltrain, but it stops running, and I really need to. Okay, when do we need to go? Do we have a meeting with somebody or?
I assumed that you were working tonight.
Yeah, I've got a shift, I think.
So we should go afterwards.
Okay, I mean, it'll be late. It's Sunday, so I could probably be out of there by midnight.
That's fine. This seems like a nighttime sort of situation.
So I chime in. I'm like, for transparency's sake, do you want to ask Victoria along? I mean, she asked me to do this, so she can't be too upset about the fact that I did it successfully. I mean, you can try.
Well, perhaps Litany should speak to her, someone that she considers human at the very least.
And I'm like, look, I'm sorry about all that. She's difficult. I will contact her and see if she wants to come along. I'm guessing driving to South Bay after midnight on a Sunday is probably not her thing. But we'll see. Maybe. I don't know.
I'll just say, good.
Do you want me to invite Lyric?
If they want to come along.
Okay, well, I guess I'll see what I can do. I'll text you or something, or call you. I don't know. Let me know if you get the logistics figured out.
Of course. And I hang up.
Great.
Boop.
And I've been like sitting next to Lyric this whole time, and just I'm like hang up, and I'm like, apparently, I don't know how much of that you heard. San Jose after work. It's on the way to LA. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, I think they just like shake their head. They're like, I don't know why are you going to San Jose?
Honestly, I don't know either.
Well, if you think it would be helpful to have me there, I'll go, but
Kaguya and Iori found some more information. They call that number. It leads to San Jose. So we're going there after work. I'm really not. I'm just trying to keep everybody happy here.
Okay, well Lyric says, well then what do you want? Do you want me to come with you?
Honestly, yes. I just, like, I respect those two. They're trying hard. I don't really get them, or Victoria. I feel like you're the only person who makes sense, frankly.
I think they laugh and probably like say something like, oh, that's just because you don't know me very well yet.
And I kind of raise my eyebrows, and I'm like, sure.
But I'll go if you want me to.
I do.
Okay.
Assuming we can find a car.
Well, you're looking at the
And
wrong
then
person.
I'm like, I know who has a car.
They just shake their head. They're just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And I kind of just like go back to finishing the rest of my breakfast.
Okay. Yeah. You finish breakfast in quiet. Okay.
Whatever. I got reason 3. I'm gonna just hire a car.
Yeah, you can just rent a car. It's true.
I mean, so could I.
It's true.
Okay. All right. So I guess the only other thing that happens during the day, Iori, you mentioned you have some prep to do. And then also, Litany, you're going to have something, coffee with Desmond, maybe? Something like that?
Yeah, that
meet
was
up with
the
Desmond?
plan. And then everything, we were just going to be some like chill hangouts, and then everything got all really unchill.
Yeah, supremely unchill. It's true. Okay, well, Iori, what do you need to do to prepare for?
I would like to, now that I have matter 2,
Your
forge
secret
a tether.
Okay, how's that
Allow
work?
me to craft a tether between myself and an inanimate object to be able to pull it via correspondence.
Nice.
So what I wanted to do in my swords the whole time, I can do that.
Yeah, so you're gonna finish that jam. Okay, so where? Let me take the rules on that. Where is it?
Page 78 of how do you do that?
Heck yes. Okay. All right. So, cool. You want to forge a tether? So matter 2 allows you to do between yourself and an inanimate object. You have to have at least a dot in correspondence for every other dot of the spheres involved. Yada yada yada. Okay. So tether lasts for the usual duration. Okay. So unless you make it permanent. So let's see. To make things permanent.
Oh no, is that time 3, not time 2?
Let me see. Permanent modifications. This is more about like permanent biological modifications. Let's see.
Yeah.
It looks like let's see, let me just try to reweave the subject back in the original form. Yeah, all of this stuff is about like body modification and how to make that permanent. So I'm not sure with like a physical object tether. I figure that's probably okay. I think you can probably just do it, and the more successes you have, the longer it lasts.
Okay.
So that's a thing you can do before you leave, right?
Yep.
Maybe like the last thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Kaguya, do you have anything you want to do before we go to Litany's scene before nighttime?
Sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Yeah. Or some approximation of it that involves meditation or something.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. I see. So I found the thing. It's a ritual, Dave. So you just have to do it over the course of time. So let's see how long it takes you to do that. Let's make those rolls.
Okay.
So it's an extended ritual. You need 10 successes to permanently link them. The highest sphere is 2, and it's a coincidental effect. Each roll represents, let's say you have, it's still pretty early in the morning, right? It's like 9 a.m. And you want to leave for San Jose at like, 11? So you got like 14 hours, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, if you spend literally the entire day like working on this, you'll probably like... There'll probably be some stuff later when you're like tired because you spent all day casting spells, but it also will mean that you can permanently kind of like link these two things, link the tether to yourself. So let's see how long it takes. Let's say each roll is an hour, and it's going to be difficulty 5 for each roll. And basically you just keep rolling and we'll see how long it takes till either you quit or succeed. Okay.
1. 4.
Nice. Okay. So you've got 4 of the 10 that you need.
6.
Okay.
Heaven.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And then you botch. Okay, so on hour 5, after 4 hours of like tinkering with this sword and like trying to bond it to yourself so you can teleport it to you, when you botch, you're definitely gonna, there's gonna be a paradox.
Okay, good. Yep.
And I think if you botch, I'm not sure. Let me check the ritual results here because I think you lose a success. Take a look. Let's see. Okay. So if you're using here we go, rituals, rolls, and extended successes. So a botch on a ritual, downsides and risks. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. So extended rites are exhausting. Assume you can work for 1 hour without penalty for each. How much stamina do you have?
2.
2. Okay, so technically on that third roll, we need you to make a stamina check, but we'll do it after this, after we figure out the botch.
Right, okay.
Okay, failed roll means exhaustion set in. Oh, that's the other thing. Here we go. Let's say you made 3 rolls and botched rolls. You may spend a turn, a temporary willpower point, and 1 previously rolled success in order to keep the whole thing from blowing up in your face. You didn't sleep last night. You pulled an all-nighter, so you don't have any willpower. So the paradox ends the ritual, and there's some chaos. So like I think like you're working with, I don't know, what does it look like when you botch? Like you're physically like making some modification to the weapon, like slotting materia, or are you like, what does it look like while you're working, and then how do you fuck it up because you're exhausted?
Yeah, I think what I'm doing is I'm trying to like get all the data I have on the weapon, its uses, all the fight scenes. I'm getting all that data, and I'm just like using a program to compress it, and then I'm going to plan to print it out as a materia because that would work. So I guess, how would it go wrong? It probably like prints like a cracked materia that just doesn't do anything, or does something bad when I try
Does
and
something
cast.
bad. Yeah. So I think you get this material and it's imperfect, but you don't notice that it's imperfect because you're so exhausted from the night before, and you like slot it into the sword, and then it does a bad thing. So you gain 1 paradox for the botch. So how much do you have now?
7.
You have 7. Okay, all right. So now I gotta make a roll. Roll 7 dice. Okay, 7 dice. Oh, just defaults. Okay, well, good. Default's only 6. So what did I get? I got 3. Okay, so each success means a point of paradox gets discharged. So 3 of your paradox gets discharged. Boop, boop, boop. You suffer 3 bashing damage.
Ow.
Ow. And then you acquire a paradox flaw. So why don't we take our second break here, and I will ponder what your paradox flaw is, and then we'll figure it out when we get back. Cool. All right. Yeah. Stick around. We will punish Dave for his hubris when we return. More Mage after this.